Todd Grimshaw could be heading into one of his darkest storylines yet, as viewers become increasingly worried about his drinking and his decision to shut people out. But while Todd appears to be spiraling, Tim Metcalf is facing a terrifying family crisis of his own, and Sarah Platt could soon make an explosive decision behind bars that puts everything at risk. Coronation Street viewers have spotted something worrying about Todd Grimshaw, and it could be a sign that his recent struggles are about to become much more serious. Todd has already been through an incredibly painful period. After everything involving Theo Silverton, the attack, the loss of Billy Mayhew, and Sarah Platt ending up in prison, he has been left trying to rebuild his life. But recently, viewers have noticed a major change. Todd appears increasingly isolated, angry, and most importantly, he seems to be drinking much more than before. Now, fans are asking a very serious question. Could Todd be developing a drinking problem? To be clear, Coronation Street has not confirmed that an alcoholism storyline is coming. But from a viewer's perspective, the signs are certainly creating suspicion. Todd has been through one emotional blow after another. His relationship with Theo left him traumatized. Billy's death took away someone who supported him. And Theo's death and Sarah's imprisonment have created even more complicated emotions. And rather than dealing with everything openly, Todd appears to be pushing people away. That is what makes the drinking especially interesting. Several viewers have noticed how often Todd has been drinking recently, with some even suggesting that he could be heading towards an alcoholism storyline. Personally, I think the important part isn't simply how much Todd is drinking, it's why he seems to need it. If Todd is using alcohol to escape memories he doesn't want to face, then the problem could become much bigger than anyone around him realizes. And if that is the direction the writers are considering, this could become a very emotional storyline. But while Todd's behavior is raising questions, another Weatherfield resident has been dealing with a completely different kind of nightmare. Tim Metcalf has found himself caught up in the shocking situation surrounding his cousin Richie Parkinson. Tim and Richie had only recently reconnected after years apart, but everything changed when Tim discovered that Rachel, Richie's wife, had been killed, and Richie was subsequently imprisoned after being accused of her death. The situation became even more disturbing when Tim arrived at Richie's home and found his cousin covered in blood. For Tim, this wasn't just a shocking crime story. This was someone from his own family. And now, Tim has been forced to visit Richie in prison. During that visit, Richie brings up something that puts Tim in an extremely difficult position. Richie wants Tim to tell police that Rachel had been violent towards him. But Tim knows he cannot simply invent something about a woman he barely knew. And that creates a huge problem. Because Richie continues to maintain that Rachel's death happened in self-defense. Tim now has to decide where his loyalty lies, with his cousin or with the truth. And there is another person caught in the middle of all this. After everything that happened, Lucy has moved into Tim and Sally's home. She is vulnerable, angry, and understandably protective of her father. So if Tim refuses to help Richie, what happens to his relationship with Lucy? That's where this storyline could become even more complicated. But while Tim is trying to deal with a family crisis, Sarah Platt is facing an entirely different battle inside prison. And this one could have consequences far beyond the prison walls. Sarah is already terrified by Casey's threats. But things become even more serious when Casey makes it clear that she knows about Sarah's son Harry. That changes everything for Sarah. Sarah has already paid a huge price for her actions, and another violent incident could potentially make her situation even worse. Yet, emotionally, you can understand why she feels trapped. Her biggest fear isn't necessarily what happens to her, it's what could happen to Harry. Bethany has tried to reassure Sarah that her son is doing okay, but Sarah is struggling with the guilt of being separated from him. Then Casey enters her cell and uses Harry's name. For Sarah, that could be the moment everything changes, because suddenly staying quiet may no longer feel like an option. And there is another worrying detail developing outside prison. Bethany becomes suspicious after noticing blood on Kit's shirt, while Alia and Adam take Harry to visit a new friend's house. The people around Harry don't appear to fully understand how serious Sarah's fears have become. So the question is, will Sarah's attempt to protect Harry make things even more dangerous? And that's where all three storylines become particularly interesting. Todd is potentially trying to escape his trauma. Tim is being pressured to help a family member accused of a serious crime. And Sarah is being pushed towards a decision that could change her future completely. None of these situations are simple. The big question now is, which storyline will explode first? Could Todd's drinking become a much bigger problem? Will Tim refuse to lie for Richie? And will Sarah actually take action against Casey to protect Harry? What do you think is really coming next for Todd, Sarah, and Tim? Let me know your theory in the comments, and subscribe for more Coronation Street updates. Soap Scandal 3.100.